You know, the scan and cut, see it, scan it, cut it, create it, it really is that simple. Hey guys, Mayflom here, and when it comes to customizing stuff for my family, my friends, I love doing it. And what I've got here, this is just a little fabric covered pencil pouch, okay, for the little artist in my family. And little Miss 11-year-old, she would like it to be a little more custom, a little more fierce. And I am with her on that. That's pretty boring. But the problem sometimes is that the good one, the one you actually want, may be the boring one and not like the fancy decorated one. Well, guess what? Maybe you can save money. Maybe it's just that it's what you want. Go with the plain one. Let's deck it out ourselves. So I went online, found a dragon silhouette, and now what I'm going to do is just get out the ScanNCut and show you how easy it is. Since this was just clip art, printing it out, fastest, easiest way. Just print it out, we're going to scan it right into the machine. So on the machine here, we are just going to go into scan. We're going to go into ScanNCut data because we're going to tell the machine that what we want is to scan what we have here and create our own cut file. So we can just use grayscale mode and go and let it scan it in. And once it's scanned in, it'll just take a moment here to recognize the file. And once recognized, we're just going to tell it what kind of file we would like. And we just want do we want just the outline? Now note if I do just the outline, the nostril and the eye would not be cut out. If I do this here, that's going to recognize the outlines. It's going to outline everything that we might have. So that's definitely what I want. And all I'm going to do is just bring this in here just a little closer so that none of that other stuff like the edge of the paper is catching. We're just going to save it. I'm simply going to save it to machine. You could save it to the cloud. You can save it to, you know, if you have your wireless activated and a ScanNCut 2, you can save it to a USB drive on any machine. That's up to you. Once we're all set, we're going to just say, okay, come into pattern, save data, and there's our dragon. Now, what I'm going to want to do is go in here, hit the red button to select everybody, because there are several different cuts because of how the machine is recognizing this. And we're going to unify them, which means consider it all one pattern. So now I can go like this and move it around. I can also come into here and resize it because I can't have it quite that big. The original is much bigger than the pouch that I'm working on. The pouch that I'm working on is only about 4.5 inches wide. So I'm gonna need to put this down to be about, I'm gonna put it just about 4.25. I think it'll be okay. And yes, just tap it on down, and then I am gonna place it over in this area and say, okay. Now before I do anything else, I'm going to unload my mat and I'm going to load my glitter paper. Now we do this shiny side, we want that side down. We want the dull back side to be facing up. And this stuff, you know, I'm gonna place this over to the side here and really get this set on, but you're just gonna place this onto your mat. And then once placed, put it into the machine. Now the final step that I am going to do before cutting, I'm gonna say okay here. I'm gonna press this little button so that I will scan my material in and I can see exactly where this material is sitting and make sure it's somewhere that works for me. Okay, so I can see very clearly and easily that everything is gonna work out great. That's in a great position. I'm just gonna move it in a little bit. So once I am satisfied with everything and how it all is, I just say okay, and I cut. Now I did not mention this to you, but I had my blade set at 4. You'll want to do a test cut because what you want to do is you want to cut the material, but what you do not want to do is cut all the way through the backing sheet. Okay, you only want to cut through the material. It makes it much, much easier to get your shape off. So what I'm going to be doing now is just very slowly and carefully, because this is going to be more of an intricate shape. I'm just going to very carefully peel it off. we are almost done. And guys, you're seeing a full tutorial here. So you're seeing every single step. Here is my dragon. Isn't that going to be cool? Oh my goodness. And no one else will have one like it. And here's my iron. I'm not pulling out my ironing board simply because I'm ironing onto such a thick item. And oops, we want to turn off our steam. Because this is such a thick item, I am not at all worried about, working onto an ironing board. So I'm just going to warm the area up first and then place my design like so. Now, I generally will just very quickly tap this only because of this, okay? I usually use, and I'm going to show you this, so I've got just a piece of fabric that I'm going to cover over this to use to really press this in so that the design gets fully ironed on, heat activated, all that good stuff. The reason I did that little bit of pressing first is when I've got something so intricate, I want to make sure that it starts to stick. I want to make sure that the sticking is happening and that we're not going to end up with some kind of a mess, or that it's not going to wiggle around underneath my cloth. Now you'll notice I'm just kind of gently pressing all along, and then I will lift this off and it looks fantastic. I will probably need, and I'm just real careful when I do this directly. I really have never had a problem with doing that. It's just that it's not recommended. But with so many really fine details, just taking my iron and directly and gently pressing each little bit will ensure that everybody is adhered on as it needs to be. How fantastic is that? So now I've got my own custom pencil case for a little artist that will be so very happy to have it. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. I'll be back as always with more videos featuring my ScanNCut and how much fun I have crafting with it in so many ways in my life.